on here. He asked me if we were continuing, and I sent him the link. So why don't we just get started here with Rule 4? We're only going to go. Rule 4 is kind of broken down into like 3 parts. So we're only going to do this one part today, and then at the end we'll decide whether or not we want to continue on the 21st or skip the 21st, the next 2 weeks, and just go into January. I'll find out from you guys how you feel to move things along. So let's get going here with Rule 4. There is a lot to cover. Rule 4 is a very, very comprehensive, and it does cover a lot. And reading and studying the rule book is one of the ways to learn how to properly conduct the game, the conduct of the game. What we're going to do is we're going to break down the rule, and we're going to have some presentations that is going to focus on the flow of the game and how to keep the game moving. As we know, lacrosse is a fast-paced game, and we're looking to keep the game moving as quickly as we possibly can, not only for the pace of the game, the quality of the game has something to do with it. Also, quite frankly, time is money, and the more efficient that we can manage the game during dead ball situations, this is what we're going to be covering today. Part of what we're going to be covering today is the faster you're going to be able to get out of there and be able to start working on your pretty much like your next assignment. So get Ryan to the first slide, actually probably the second slide right now. Next slide. This section is going to review areas of the game that as an official that will help you facilitate the flow of the game. Knowing the keys to your role as a member of the third team on the field, managing faceoffs and other starts and restarts are crucial to the flow of the game. When I'm talking about the flow of the game, it's going to refer to many different things. As we can see here, the speed of the game, the score of the game, the length of the game. Is the game taking too long? Why would the game be taking too long? Is it because of us? Is it because of our poor game management? Is it because there's not balls on the end line? Can we control that kind of stuff? Is the game too slow? Are there things that are causing the pace of the game to slow down, and there's too many delays during dead ball situations, and the restarts aren't happening fast enough? Are you interested? Is it holding your interest? Are the players enjoying it? And there are a lot of things out there that you can control, and a lot of that stuff that you can control, believe it or not, is during dead ball situations. Next. We are the third team on the field, okay? The third team on the field when you're having your pregame. Essentially, sometimes your pregame can begin with a phone call the day before. In college, we're giving phone calls and we're giving other contacts to the schools days in advance just to make sure we have everything. But the pregame is our primary method for us to be able to create consistency throughout the entire game. Positioning, each official needs to be aware of their positioning on the fields and the actions that you're doing, your verbal and nonverbal communication. The positions and your actions of your partners, where they are. Where do you expect to see your partner when you need to see him somewhere and expect them to be in a location? Are they in those locations? Do you need to make any individual or crew adjustments when the game is going on? What kind of adjustments do you need to make? Just to kind of give you an example of some adjustments. Sometimes if I have a newer official and they're working the bench side and the coach is riding them a little bit too much, I have no problem with switching sides, and then I'll take the heat for the official, because I would much rather have that official get a little bit of time to regather his thoughts, refocus, and not have the coach all of a sudden be so aggressive that he ends up quitting lacrosse, quitting refereeing. You always want to be supportive of other members of your crew and being able to communicate effectively to your team, the referee team, in addition to your off-field scorekeepers, timekeepers, and stuff like that, not only in a group, but also individually. a lot of high school games, there's not a lot of time to pregame. That's why being able to pregame either before the game on the phone, whether it's the day before the game, it could be on the ride to the game. Get some sort of pregame in and discuss with your partners all the things that you think need to be covered the most between the two teams that you're going to be working with. As it says here, advanced communication would be that day before stuff, emails, text messages, phone calls, that kind of stuff. The important details of the game. The important details of the game: face-offs, goal crease areas, end lines, sidelines. That's the stuff that is the important to the game. High hits, hits to the head. That's the important stuff. How you guys are going to take care of that. How you guys communicate with each other, and how quickly you communicate with each other, verbally and non-verbally, during penalty situations. Whether you need to get together and have a conversation, or whether or not you can just do it with some non-verbal communication back and forth to each other. Next slide. So there are goals that every crew should have for every game. You're looking for consistency, not only consistency as a crew, you want consistency as both ends of the field, and you need to acknowledge the times that you're looking to kind of kick the call to your partner. What I mean by kick the call to your partner, it's you're not going to pass on the call because you're it doesn't mean to pass on the call and let your partner take care of it. All right. There are certain areas of the field that we've already discussed that the officials should be looking at. There are certain areas of the field that the trail is looking at. There are certain areas of the field that the lead is looking at. And knowing when to go from being on ball to being off ball, that's the kicking of it to your partner. That's kind of, what you're going to be, knowing your partners and knowing when you're going to be transitioning about being on and off ball is what we're talking about here in that situation. Rules and mechanics knowledge. I will be providing you guys with the mechanics, not brochure, but I'll give you the information on the mechanics and where you're supposed to be and all that kind of stuff. I'll send that to you guys in a PDF, so that way you guys can download it and look at it and stuff like that. But your dedication and to knowing the rules and knowing the mechanics, where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there, when you're supposed to be leaving the area that you're at, where you're supposed to go to your next area, and always thinking ahead, looking at refereeing in the different zones that it has, and also looking at refereeing as a chess game. You and your partner are playing a chess game against the players on the field and the coaches that are off the field. And what you're trying to do is always beat them to where the ball is going to be going, whether it be physically beating them or whether it be mentally beating them, getting to the spot it one way or another ahead of when the play gets to those areas. So learn when you know your mechanics, then you're going to be able to implement more rule knowledge and mechanic knowledge. And listen, I have multiple years in this game. So does many of the guys that you see refereeing in the PLL. Each and every single one of them is always studying. So I don't care whether or not you put it on the toilet bowl. I don't care whether you put it in your bag, whether you download the US Lacrosse rule book, but every now and then get a chance and go through the mechanics, go through the rule book, and keep yourself always educating yourself. Teamwork and trust. You need to be willing to work with your teammates. You need to be willing to work and trust your partners. You can work with a partner and trust your partner even if you don't like that partner. So even if you do not like that person personally, you need to be able to work professionally with that person and work with them in an effective way to manage the game, to make sure that there's no issues throughout the entire game. When it comes to, it's talking about fishing here. What that means is when there are calls in your partner's area, let your partner make those calls. Now, that being said, and it might be difficult to understand, some of the hardest calls for an official to make are the calls that are happening right in front of your face. It sounds stupid. It sounds ununderstandable. But some of the most difficult calls to make are the calls that happen right in front of your face. that's when you as a partner need to understand what was just happening, because you've experienced those things in your officiating career, and you know that, hey, that happened right in front of him, and I need to throw the flag because it, and the coaches are going to be like, how can you throw it when it happened right in front of him? Those calls, and I'm sure Ryan will back me up on this, that those calls that sometimes happen, those plays that happen right in front of you, you just don't see it because you're just too close to it. And then communication. So this would be a great example to discuss what it was that happened with your partner at a later time, not at that exact time, but at a later time. But your partner that you just threw the flag in his area, so to speak, he's going to understand, and he's going to trust that you had that right call, and later on you guys are going to communicate. And you know what the communication is going to be? If Ryan throws a flag in my area while the play is right up against me, what's going to happen is I'm going to go over to Ryan and say, hey man, thanks. I knew something happened there, but I just didn't see it. Thanks for having my back. That's the end of the conversation. You know, I trust Ryan. I trust my partner to do what's right for the proper conduction of the game. All right, next slide. High school length. So high school games are 4 12-minute quarters. That's 48 minutes each. If all the timeouts are called, that's another 8 minutes. And with the breaks and halftime, that's another 14 minutes. So essentially, there is an hour and 10 minutes of required time to complete a game. All right. But we know that the games take even longer. So we're looking to have games be somewhere in that hour and 40 to hour and 50 minute is what you're trying to get your games done in. And that's when you're really working hard and hustling to whenever there's a goal scored, getting the ball up to the midfield for the next faceoff and stuff like that. There has been a big effort over the last 20 years to speed up the game. A quicker game is generally a safer game. The quick game is generally a focused game. A lot of time is lost on faceoffs and penalty enforcement. That's for us as officials, okay? So essentially, when you start walking up the field to do the next faceoff and not hustling up there and moving the ball up there in a timely fashion, as I said before, time is money. You need to be able to do your job, but do your job expeditiously. You want to make it fun with your crew and hustle. You can even make a game out of it or something like that. And then if you want, maybe there's some buzzwords you want to try to use to try to bring your partner back in and refocus your partner and help him out. There is a 20-second clock when the ball does get up to midfield. The official that's taking the face-off is going to shout out timer on. So now that gives 20 seconds for the teams to make whatever changes and whatever they need to do and be ready for the start of the next face-off. If they're not ready, you can just give the ball to the team that was offended. All right. The offending team does not get the ball. The offended team gets the ball. And then you just restart play right then and there. When you're restarting it, yes, you're looking for a quick restart, but you're not going to restart when no one has possession of the ball. You're not going to restart when there are two offensive players that are within 5 yards of each other. You can restart play when there is a defensive player inside of 5 yards. Okay. And we're not necessarily making that call and telling the guy 5 yards back, because that can be construed as coaching. But what you can do is saying, if you want 5 yards, you don't have it. If you want 5 yards, you don't have it. It's all in the packaging. Just like everything, it's all in the packaging. Keeping in mind, there are controllable times, aspects of every single game. The controllable times of the game, as I said already, are the dead ball situations. You will hustle and you will run most of the time during dead ball situations. Those are the times when you are going to be sprinting the most, is during dead ball situations. Live ball situations, you've got a lot of stuff going on with your counts, you're watching the play and stuff like that, and you're running at a comfortable pace. What you're trying to do is hustle and run during the dead ball times. All right, your hustle versus no hustle. You're hustling during dead ball, but you're not really running or sprinting during a live ball. It sounds weird, it sounds backwards, but that's the way that the game is controlled by the officials. Okay. And just as a little side note, I'll just read this here. Did you guys know at the international level, officials must track the time from the goal scored to the next faceoff? And the answer is that for that, so it says here that international games are running clock, and the officials can make a big difference in games that are close by showing hustle, especially in those running clock games. So that's just a USA Lacrosse little sidebar thing. Next. All right, pregame responsibilities. What we're going to be doing is setting the tone in our pregame. Okay, a solid pregame is needed to ensure the success of the game, the successful conduction of the game. All right, each official needs to be aware of his positioning and their actions, the positioning and the actions of their partners, all mechanics, all procedures, knowing and understanding where each person's supposed to be, not only during the pregame and where you as the umpire and field judge are supposed to be, but where the R is supposed to be, where the referee is supposed to be during the pregame, the conversations with the coaches and who we're speaking to first, who we're speaking to next. As we said already, you're going to make individual crew adjustments when and if necessary, supporting your crew members and communicating effectively, verbally and non-verbally. Our responsibilities in the pregame: meet and certify the coaches. We know that. We know what we're going over. Let me ask. All right, let's go with Joe. What are we going? What's one thing we're going to get over when we're meeting with the coaches? You're muted for some reason. All right, Jack. What's one thing that we're going to do and when we meet with the coaches?
Set expectations. Make sure everyone knows. Knows who the refs are to start the game.
Okay, Scott. What do you think?
So you certify the equipment, you get the in-home, you get the captains.
We're going to get some any sort of pregame ceremonies that they're going to be doing. We're gonna find out if there's any field issues that we need to have concerns of, things like that. So yeah, all that stuff is exactly what we're going to be doing during the certification of the coaches. Captains and coin toss. So Jack, which team is going to call the coin toss?
The away team.
Yep.
The away team, yes.
Yep.
Okay. Some of the things that you guys should probably get in the habit of doing is also trying to meet with the substitution coaches. Let those coaches know that to be aware and making sure that there's a proper changing on the field, that one player goes off first before another player goes on. Not every team is going to have substitution coaches, and quite frankly, if you're going to be doing a two-man game, there's going to be almost impossible for you to be able to manage that box area, that substitution area. So if you get that opportunity to speak with the substitution coach, it's what you're doing is you're putting off a facade and letting him know that you're aware of what your job is. And coach, I need you to help me out. You're just trying to kind of get on the same page with the coaches. And if the coaches think that you're going to take the time to speak with them, then they're going to think that you're going to take the time to manage the substitution areas. And as a two-man game, I will definitely tell you it's impossible. In a three-man game, it is more than it is easily done. Meeting the table persons, we spoke earlier about this. Get the girl's name, find out who it is over there, and go over their responsibilities. The table personnel are part of your crew, and you're making sure that the field is ready for play. And then you're going to be getting all the players lined up for the lineup. Let's go with Joe. Do you have can you speak now or no? Because before you were muted. You're muted, Joe. You're muted.
How about now?
Now you're good. All right.
Okay.
So on the lineup, what's someone that needs to be on the field at the pregame lineup?
The goalie has to be on the field on the pregame
All right, the
lineup.
goalie's one person. But there's a specific player that needs to be on the field during the pregame, during the lineup.
The in-home.
The in-home, that's what I was looking for. Thank you very much. All right. Great job, guys. Let's go on to third team on the field. Oh, I'm sorry, where are we at? Pre-game responsibilities, hang on. We did the high school stuff. What's the next slide there, Ryan? I'm a little bit face-offs and restarts. All right, hang on. I'm going the wrong way. I'm an idiot. Sorry. Face-offs, okay. Here we go. Face-off, the pregame face-off meeting is key to the flow of the game. What you're going to be doing in that pregame face-off is you're going to be letting the players that are taking the face-offs know what is expected out of them. You're checking their equipment, make sure their equipment meets all certification requirements as far as having different color, whether it be tape or whether it be a different color on the shaft of the stick down 6 inches from the head of the cross, making sure that their gloves are not the same color as whatever opposition color it is according to the shaft and the head, and just letting them know that the things that you're planning on doing as far as the mechanics for the face-off. We're going to be getting a little bit more in depth in the face-off as far as the mechanics and the procedures of that, but you're going to inform the players what your mechanics are going to be, that your mechanics are going to essentially not be consistent all the time, and let them know your cadence. You're gonna put the ball down, then you're gonna tell the players to go down. What you're gonna tell them in the pregame, you're gonna tell them that they need to match up top to stop. I don't know whether you guys are all coaches, so I'm pretty sure that you guys all know what I mean by top to stop. And that's the way we want to have the players matching up. So if this is the top and this is the stop, and then this is my hand, that's the stop, that's the top. That's how they're going to be matched up. So we're going to, if my hand was ambidextrous, I'd be able to do it. But we kind of want them to be parallel, even up, top to stop. You're going to have the players coming down together, and you don't want to have any other players delay. And essentially, if for some reason there's any sort of violation, you're not going to have the player get mad and toss that ball away, because then you're just going to end up throwing a flag and giving them a 30-second technical delay game. Your pregame face-off meeting, as I said, you're setting expectations. You're going to talk about the speed and the setup, and getting the face-off men to be helping you out, letting them know that you're not there to disadvantage anybody, that you're there to try to conduct a fair and equitable face-off throughout the entire game. The opening face-off is going to set the tone. Take your time, make sure everybody is legal. The worst thing you could have happen is be the first call of your game, I think, be a face-off violation, like a face-off that doesn't even happen. If there's a face-off violation because the guy jumps early, that's a whole nother situation. But if a player, essentially, if you have a face-off violation that happens before the face-off even happens, or before with a setup of it, try to make sure you get that opening face-off, so that way it's as fair and clean and crisp as it could possibly be. If and when there's a violation, you want to get the play restarted quickly. If that player gets mad and throws that ball away, like I said, you're gonna throw your flag on that if he's not the one that's getting the ball. The things you need to remember when you are the trail in that situation, you need to make sure that the players that are behind the restraining line are not released until the whistle is blown to restart play. So let's say in this example, white jumps. Okay, now the ball's going to go to blue. The players that are behind blue, that restraining line behind blue, they have a tendency of creeping across that restraining line, thinking that they could just keep on going. Or those poles start running off the field and they start swapping out positions and stuff like that. Or, so those players are not released until possession is called. This includes those times when the ball is loose and bouncing around and there's a loose ball push. Until you blow the whistle to restart play, those players are not able to be released from behind the restraining line. Do you guys understand that?
Yep.
Okay. Any questions about the face-off? Keeping up the tempo of the game and managing the tempo of the face-off portion of the game. All right. Continuing with face-offs and restarts. We're gonna next week, maybe next week, maybe not till next year. The face-offs we're gonna dive deeper into the role as an official and administrating the face-offs and stuff like that, and how your teamwork and your communication helps with the flow of the game. Essentially, whether you have a 2-man crew, whether you're a 3-man crew, there are different responsibilities that are required, and we'll provide you that information and stuff like that. So that's the kind of stuff that we're looking to do. The pregame, as I said already, the face-off, the pregame face-off meeting and all that kind of stuff, setting a tone, getting, if you have violations, you want to explain them quickly. It could be, procedure blue. And essentially, if you start going, procedure white player moved, it's going to be a blue ball. That's taking up weight. That I sounds like a really stupid thing to say, but it takes up time. You got these guys that are running on and off the field and stuff like that. And if that procedure happens, what's going to happen is that long pole is going to be running across the field. And now you might have to wait for the offensive team's player that's running by, and you got to hold that whistle because now they're next to each other, and you can't blow the whistle because you can't restart play with 2 players of the same team right next to each other. Or if you blow that whistle and that long pole defender's running across, and now he hears you blow the whistle and the player starts running and he's inside of 5 yards, and then you blow the whistle, but that player's really, his intention was to run off the field. Because you blew the whistle, that kid panicked, and now he plays the guy from inside of 5 yards. Now you're going to have to throw a flag, but who really created that violation? The referee created that situation because you're a little bit too quick on getting that restart going. Yes, you want to be quick, but you also want to make sure you're quick within the confines of the rules of the game. You guys understand the difference there? Okay. Next slide. All right. Where are we? Pre-game. Yep. So let's go through these videos real quick. It's a good setup. You got 2 guys in there. One guy's the referee, and one guy. To me, I'm guessing this is the opening face-off of the game, and this is the old rule when the referee has the ball in his hand and then he puts it down. Okay. The ball is supposed to be down on the ground originally. The ball is supposed to be down on the ground originally. Okay. Let's roll that back. All right, so the ball should be down on the ground already, not in the referee's hand. Both of the officials are making sure that nobody's tilting in, nobody has their hand on the line, their backhand on the line, the sticks are parallel with the line. So now the ball is down. The referee is going to say set, and the players can't move. Once you say set, the players can't move. So now the face-off happens, and it appears, and I know this is a little bit jumpy, it appears as if the white player had the ball caught in the back of his cross and took more than 1 step. So so that is withholding ball from play, and the ball is going to go the opposite direction. So in this situation, white wins the draw. He clamps on the ball doesn't come out after he tries to jump it out, 2 times. So you get one jump, 1 flip. If it comes out, great. If it doesn't come out, and you got to give it another one, then that's withholding the ball from play. So that's pretty much what I'm gathering happened in this situation, that the player had to give it a couple shakes and it didn't come out. Okay. All right, next. Oh, I keep going the wrong way, damn it. Okay. After a goal, before next face-off, all right? So the mechanics of this is you can toss a ball about 15 yards if you want to toss it to your partner and do your rotation that way. So usually what you try to do is when a goal is scored, you have 1 official that's up at top of the box and 1 official that's goal line. So after the goal gets scored, what you're going to do is the trail official is going to keep an eye on the shooter. He's going to keep an eye on the players that are shaking hands because they just scored a goal, making sure no one's getting overtly violent, no one is doing anything cheap, no one is getting in somebody's face and starting anything. So you are the keep coming in, and you're the initial person to be watching out for that kind of stuff as trail. Single is going in and making sure that there were no late hits, making sure that, you know, the goalie doesn't get pissed off and do anything stupid, and you're making the goal call. Then your attention turns to making sure that the play is safe. Then you're going to go retrieve the ball from the net, and then you're the official that came down is going to come down to about the top of the box. All right, right in the center of the field, in the top of the box. The official that's retrieving the ball is going to take the ball out of the net, and he's going to toss it up to the official at the top of the box. Then the official at the top of the box is going to run and hustle up to the midfield. He's going to put on his 20-second timer and say, clock on. Okay, now those guys now have 20 seconds to get where they need to go. During that 20 seconds is when you're going to take your scorecard out. You're going to jot down the score, put your scorecard back away. All right. So essentially what we want to make sure we're not going to do is we don't want to throw the ball so that way your partner that you're tossing the ball to goes over his head. Yet we don't want to have him chasing it and making us look like, look silly while we're out there on the field. We want to make each other look good. All right. All this chasing of the ball is all going to take time, and you're just exerting more effort than you need. So make it a good toss. You know, even if you have to roll it up to them, that a good roll and have to bend over to get it is better than having a toss and having it go over the official's head. All right. The quicker we can get up to the face-off area and get the game going again, time is money. Keep that in mind. So the single is going to go get the ball, retrieve the ball wherever it is. They're going to jog. Then they're going to jog back. Dead ball officiating, as I said, is very important. Then you're going to record the score, and the non-face-off official is going to signal to the official when field is ready to play. So what you're going to do as the non-face-off official, you're going to put your hand up, and you're going to hold. I know you guys can't see it. Put your hand up, and you're going to hold your partner from bringing the players down for the face-off until the field is ready. As soon as the field is ready and there's the proper number of players in the field, you're going to point downfield the way that you are going to be running. You're not pointing to your partner. You're going to point downfield the way that you're going to be running, not the way your partner's running, but the way that you're going to be running. And that's going to let your partner know that you are ready to play and the field is set and the field is ready to play. Questions? Next. Okay. Here's a time waster. All right. What's the referee doing after the goal is scored? Just kind of taking his time, getting up there. So let me just say this. It looks as if that is a cold game. They wouldn't be wearing long pants and long jackets if it wasn't a cold game. So, you know, maybe a little hustle kind of keeps you warm. Maybe it's a little bit cold. That might be a little bit of a bad choice of a video. There are way other videos and way other times that I've seen many officials, myself included, that just get lazy and walk up the field because you just had a good sprint. You just had a bunch of things going. And quite frankly, I'm 51 years old and I can't run like a high school kid anymore. So sometimes that'll be my time to catch my breath from time to time if I need. Don't get in that habit. If it happens once in the game, twice in a game, because you got to catch your breath, no big deal. But if it's something that happens on a consistent basis and you make that be a habit, it then becomes something that looks bad and causes delays in the game and causes you to stay there longer. Time is money. All right. We don't want to have the players waiting for us. We don't want to have them, waiting for us to come up there for the face-off. All right. Next slide. Our restarts after fouls. Okay. So we have a foul, flag down, play the whistle blows. Okay. You're going to step away from the players and you're going to report the foul to the bench. So you want to clearly communicate to the table, using C note, color, number, offense, time, and then you're going to get the play going, and then you're going to get the play going again. Essentially, that's the order of things as far as reporting your foul. You're going to report the color, blue, 15/1 minute. Okay, blue 15/1 minute. That's the way you're going to end up reporting your fouls. You always want to report the color first, okay? Because quite frankly, the coaches don't give a darn about what number it is. They just want to know who has the ball. You guys are coaches. You guys know that. Who's got the ball? Is the ball mine? Is the ball somebody else's? Okay. After you report the penalty, you might need to use your timer as far as mechanics to make sure that they're moving along and getting their changes done. They have 20 seconds after you've reported that foul. They have 20 seconds to get ready, get those man on team on the field, man up, all that kind of stuff. They've got to do what the coaches have to do, whatever they need to do. And if they're delaying and they have too many players on the field and stuff like that, that's delaying your game. Time is money. So get those coaches in the habit of moving along the game as well prepared as we are as officials. I expect and hope the coaches are as prepared with their teams as we are with what we do. It's going to provide accountability for you, your partner, and all the other teams throughout the entire game. You want to be efficient with the fouls and with the restarts and start play as soon as possible, but not before you've made your count and everyone is ready. Essentially, that you want to count and make sure that the team that's man down has only 5 players in the field, excluding the goalie, and the team that has the ball and the penalty has 6 players on the field. You also want to make sure that the ball is starting in the right place, that the ball is starting on the proper half of the field. You also want to make sure that the goaltender knows where the ball is restarting if you're starting just outside the box. I suggest if you are starting outside the box that you hold the ball in your hand until play is ready to go. And then you say, goalie, ball's here with me. Hold the ball up in the air. The player you're going to give it to is going to be standing right next to you. Goalie, ball's here with me. And then you have the goalie watch you put that ball in that player's stick. That way, you're not going to have a goalie, a defenseman, a midi say, oh, I had no idea where it was. You started and you didn't tell us where it was. You didn't tell us where it was. You can avoid that. Avoid the thing, control the things you can control. That is a controllable situation. Okay, that is a controllable situation. Communicating to the players in the field is a controllable situation, guys. So learn and understand the times that you can control the play and make sure you can communicate with whoever you need to communicate with. Okay, any questions? All right, so the referee, as we see here, you have the penalty be reporting, and the referee's going to have his hand up, and we'll go over what everyone is supposed to be doing. So here's the proper restart after a foul in the 3-man mechanics. Okay, so the referee on the far side, the referee nearest to us, he's pointing down that he's ready. The referee down by the goal line, he's ready. The referee on the far side restarted play. Okay, so Ryan, point to trail, Ryan. That's yep. So here's trail right over here. He's got his hand up, and then the other referee, it's down by the goal line. He's down by the goal line on the same side, right? That referee is single side. The referee here by the goal, where his arrow is, okay, that official is going to be pointing downfield as well when he comes into the camera view. All right, but he's got his hand up just like the trail does. And the single side official is the one that's going to be restarting play with that white player standing right next to him. He has his hand up in the air, letting everyone know that I'm waiting till I hear the communication from my partners by them pointing downfield that the field is ready. So as soon as they do that, then I give it that blow the whistle and wind the ball into play. So let's watch this as it happens. Okay, and he points downfield. The other official comes into play. He acknowledges, points downfield, and the other official winds it up. That's the perfect mechanics, right? That's exactly what we're looking for. in a two-man game. The only thing that you're probably not gonna have is the official over here the official that's restarting play, that's winding, okay? That in this situation would be the trail. The only official you wouldn't have is gonna be the official that's nearest to the camera right over here. That official that's currently the trail would not be on the field in a two-man game, okay? So the official on the far side, he's gonna be the trail, and he's gonna be the one that's gonna be winding the play in as soon as his partner on goal line gets everything, gets all the field set. What you're looking to do is make sure that everyone has a job and a responsibility when you're doing a restart after a foul. The official that's reporting the foul is reporting the foul. He trusts that his partner is going to be making sure that the players are getting on and off the field, and he's moving the ball to the area that it's supposed to restart in. Everyone has a job and a responsibility. The responsibility of the official that's reporting the foul is reporting the foul. Then he's going to then go get his flag, okay? And then he's going to move and hustle to his next position and be ready to start play. There may be times where you have to run all the way downfield to get your flag and run all the way back. You know what? Do it, and do it with pride. Know that you made the right call, and now you're getting yourself ready and you're prepared for the next situation. That run, that sprint, that hustle, that shows everyone that you are into the game, and it gains credibility. All right. You want to try to gain credibility whenever you can, even when you're the only one on the field that's moving and running. Look professional, act professional, gain credibility, not only of yourself, of your crew. Okay. Next slide. All right. So hoping that his partner's getting the field ready. That's what that official's doing. He's making a technical foul call, and he's relaying the information to his partner. Your partner is going to be relaying the foul so this official is relaying the foul to the scorer's table. As I already said, what you're going to be doing is setting the field, getting the ball where it needs to go, getting the players where they need to be. Sometimes crews are not doing anything when they could be getting the field set. Don't get caught into that rut. Understand that you have a job and you have a role to keep the game moving in an orderly fashion. And when you are not doing something, that means you're doing something wrong. You should always be doing something. Moving the ball, moving the players, keeping an eye on things, getting players away properly so that way we can restart in a timely manner, making your counts of players in the field. There should never be a time in the field where you're just standing around doing absolutely nothing. The people that do absolutely nothing are the right fielder on baseball teams, not lacrosse players, certainly not lacrosse officials. You got to tell the team it's man up to move the ball where it needs to be moved to, or they may be flipping it to you, and then you're going to move the ball where it needs to go to. You're going to advise the goalie and the defense where it's going to be. I gave you my hint, my advisement on what I think you should be doing. Take that as you may. You do whatever you want with that. You may even need to assist with the retrieval of your partner's flag if you need, just to kind of help move things along. If you've got enough time to kind of just run to the middle of the field, grab his flag, toss it over to him and keep things moving, always saves time. Always doing things whenever you can. The more that you do this, and the more that you're doing things while the penalty enforcement is getting done, and play is able to start without any unnecessary delay. Okay. Next slide. Ryan, next slide. Hello. We get locked up here. All right. Nice little video here.
Yeah, you were breaking up there for a second. I didn't know.
I'm sorry. No problem. Let's run this. Let's run this video. Okay. So we're going to let it run through, and then I'm going to ask you guys a couple questions. Scott, first question is going to go to you. What was the call? What was the call, Scott?
I don't know.
All right. How about Jack? What do you think the call was?
Looks like it was a crease violation.
A crease violation? All right, Joe, do you have any ideas?
I believe crease violation.
All right, so the call here was goaltender interference. Okay, goaltender interference. So the attacking player obstructed the goaltender while the goaltender was in the crease and touched the goaltender's stick. So when those situations happen, then the ball ends up becoming a free clear for the white team in this situation. So the goalie was going to be trying to retrieve the ball and make it clear, and it wasn't able to be done properly. So that team is now entitled to a free clear up at the midline. Okay, so you had a play on possession, goalie interference. They're getting a free clear. The lead official, okay, which is the official that's going to be running it into screen here. He now becomes the new trail. That official is going to make the call. He's going to go grab the ball, and then he's going to hustle it up to the midline. When he gets up there, he's going to toss it to the player at the midfield line, and he's going to restart play within 15 seconds. It may very well be 1 second. Because if players know what's going on and they're smart, they're going to hustle to where they need to be so that way they can catch the other team off guard. So that's kind of what happened in this situation. So let Ryan run it real quick. All right, so we had the goalie interference call. He moves in, gets the ball, hustles the ball up to the field. You got that player coming in, number 18, to get that ball. He gets it, and look at that. As soon as he has it, boom, play's restarting, and we're ready to go. All right, goalie interference. And there we go. All right, any questions, guys? This is not necessarily about the goalie interference call. This is more about showing the hustle, where guys are going to be going, and where guys are going to be moving to. We understand that part of it? All right. Out of bounds restarts. Okay. Coaches are looking for a quick whistle because the teams want to catch their opponents off guard on defense. Okay. Referees want to keep get a quick restart because they want to keep the game flowing. All right. Nobody wants an unclean restart. Everybody wants to be able to get a good, clean restart, meaning that if there's two players of the same team that are right next to each other, you should not be restarting play. At the lower levels of youth stuff, there could be an issue with maybe not enough balls at the end line. There could be kids that don't know what they're really doing. They're a little bit scared and timid and stuff like that. So you do the best you can. Some of the quick fixes, some of the things that you could do when you're doing a kids game, you can keep a ball in your pocket if you want, hold the ball in your non-whistle hand, whatever it does to try to help keep play moving a little bit. Players are not to have any running restarts from out of bounds. It's a slow stop, kind of the way you guys go up to a stop sign and you know there's nobody around. You kind of come up and you do a rolling stop. You never really completely stop, but then you just keep on going. That's kind of what happens with this. You're never going to have a player do a running restart. You're never going to have a player run off the field and retrieve a ball and then run up the field 10 yards towards the goal he's going to be attacking from where the ball went out of bounds. You want to have that player always go and restart in the same area where the ball went out of bounds. When I say area, I'm talking like a yard one side or the other. That's where you're at. I mean, you're in a relatively tight area to get that guy to restart in the proper area. You don't want to create situations where a player gets an advantage in a situation where you as the official can control that situation. Don't allow a player to take advantage of you as an official. Don't allow a player to take advantage of the situation and try to cheat. Whenever a player is starting in front of the table area, they need to start 5 yards on the field in front of the table area. That's for the safety of the players. And then you always have to give the goalie 5 seconds to get back into their goal crease. So if the goalie runs out on an end line ball, you want to go and you want to give that goalie a 5-second count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get him back in there. Offensive players must be 5 yards away from their teammates. Defensive players do not need to be 5 yards, but if they're not, then they can be penalized for not creating that 5-yard separations. And if there's any timeouts that happen on the end line that are inside the box, the restart is going to be happening inside the box. So team A has the ball at X behind goal. You know what? We're going to blow the whistle, give them their timeout, and excuse me, and they're going to restart the ball inside that box, but back at the end line. Okay, you guys understand that? All right. So now we're going to go to inbound restarts. Okay. There's some slight differences. Quicker restarts when you're on inbounds. Okay. Play on fouls should restart quickly. When it means quickly, you make sure that there are no similar teammates that are next to each other, and then you get play going. You don't care about the defending team, you care about the attacking team. Most goalies 5 seconds. Offensive players must be 5 yards. The offensive players must be 5 yards. Defensive players do not, and they can be penalized. And offensive restarts must start in the box in the alley if play is stopped. So if there's a defensive loose ball push and then the offensive team gets the ball, they do not start inside the box. They start outside the box. Okay. Once again, the coaches on these situations want those quick whistles because they want to catch the opponents off guard. Referees are looking for quick restarts for the flow of the game. Nobody's looking for an unclean start, but the quicker you get started, the quicker the clock rolls, and time is money. Next slide. Defensive player plays the ball handler on the restart. He's granted without granting the player 5 yards. That player must give the offensive player a clear path to the goal and 5 yards. A 5-yard differential must be attained before the defensive player can engage. If the defensive player moves away from the direct path or goal of the offensive player, and the offensive player runs into him, no foul will occur. Okay, so what this is saying is that you're giving the ball to team A. Team B has to get 5 yards away from team A and give that player a clean line towards the goal. If that player that has the ball runs into that defensive player, then there is no flag. But if that player never gets a 5-yard separation from that attacking player, then there should be a flag. So here's where we get into a whole bunch of weird different situations and stuff like that. Player A restarts it, player B gives him a little bit of room, but not enough room, and then he keeps running with him, but he's running behind him, but he never gave him 5 yards. Here's a game management technique that you can use, okay? If he plays him right away from inside the 5 yards, that's easy. That's a flag. That there is no ifs, ands, or buts there. But if in this situation where the player is running behind him and has never given him that 5 yards, what you could do to help communicate to the player and let him know that you might potentially have something is you can call a play on and shout out play on. You are now communicating to the player that he has created a violation that you are getting ready to call if he doesn't withdraw himself from that situation and allow that player to get 5 yards. You could have this potential play on, all right? And this is only a game management technique. You don't need to use it. You can just throw that flag right away, and you'd be well within the rules to be able to throw that flag. This is just a technique. I'm calling the play on. I'm letting the player know that I could have that play on from one half of the field all the way across to the other. I could have it for 40 yards, 60 yards, all right? But that's up to me and my game management and what I'm planning on doing. Your game management may be different than mine. The tone and temperament of the game may warrant you, hey, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to let anything potentially happen. So I'm going to throw the flag, and I'm going to make sure that these situations don't necessarily happen. You guys understand what I'm talking about here? All right, next slide. So here are some bad restarts. Some animated 2-man mechanics. Does this run or no? Let's have a little slide here.
No, it doesn't
All
look
right,
like
no, it
it.
doesn't. Okay, so here's what we got. The shot is.
I think it's just compare.
Okay,
it's
the
just
shot is
comparing
taken.
from these
I'll
two.
just go through it. The shot's taken and chased by both offensive red and defensive blue, and the ball is awarded to offensive team red. D1 is within the defensive player blue is within 5 yards when the offensive player red is ready to play. What needs to happen for this play to start without a flag? Joe, what do you think should happen to allow this play to start without there being a flag?
Without being, go ahead.
So the guy's got to back off. The defensive player's got to back off and provide that player an opportunity to go towards the goal, and with a 5 yard separation. The lead official, all right, the lead official, where he should go during this play. First of all, he would have already been running towards the end line, so now he's going to be back there behind the goal at the end line watching that play. This is that situation where you can, as an official, use your game management skill, and you could say, if you want 5 yards, you don't have it. If you want 5 yards, you don't have it. I wouldn't take that much time saying that kind of stuff, because that red player may be getting ready to go, because there could be an opportunity that he sees to be able to pass the ball and get play moving.
Mhm.
And then trail, that would be the S single side. He's going to end up sliding down a little bit and being able to help out and cover that goal, because lead is behind the goal. So the single side official needs to slide down a little bit inside the box to help him out. Keep in mind, if this player red throws the ball to another player, now that 5 yard situation rule is out the window. If the red player is able to pass the ball to his teammate, that 5 yard rule is now out the window. It's only on the initial play, not the second player having the ball. We understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Good restart animation. Okay. So shot taken, both chase, red and blue. Balls awarded to red. D1 is within 5 yards. So what we're going to be doing is that player is going to be backing up. Maybe this thing runs. I don't know. I don't know if it does, Ryan. It doesn't seem to run, does it?
Not on the program that I have now. I'm going to try to open it up in PowerPoint instead of Keynote and see if it does.
Okay. So either way, what we have here, the lead official, he's going to be getting down to end line, and he's going to make sure that everyone's in the right position, communicating properly. In this situation, the blue player is going to be backing up. The trail is still going to be sliding down, and he's going to help cover that goal crease if needed. And then we're going to be able to get play started in an orderly fashion, because there is five yard separation in this example. All right, so we're using our imagination here, fellas. All right, that's what we're doing. Just trying to get us done here in an orderly fashion. All right. Restarts from the midline. Okay. The restarts from the midline kind of happens a lot during the over and back and restarts after face-off violations. That's when you're going to have that kind of stuff going on. I mean, so it gives me a little note here, and it says to not say give him 5 on the defense. All right. That's why I tell you, if you want, you're going to say, if you want 5 yards, okay, you're giving him a suggestion. You're not telling him what to do. All right. Because that would be the coaching. All right. But what you want to say is, if you want 5 yards, give him a suggestion. All right. Don't give him a directive. Give him a suggestion. If you guys can kind of understand the different wording that I'm using. Okay. So in this situation, red's going to have the ball, and the trail official is going to get play restarted, and play is going to be heading towards the goalie. All right, clearly we have 5 yards, and we're going to get play going in a nice orderly fashion. All right, any questions there? All right. So here would be some bad restarts. All right, we can see that this player is a lot closer. And what is gonna happen is you're gonna end up having a violation. The official's gonna throw his flag, and that's good. How long is the penalty time for illegal procedure violation, 5-yard illegal procedure violation, Jack?
30 seconds.
30 seconds, perfectly. Technical foul, 30 seconds, okay? If the defender in the situation, if he ends up realizing that, hey, I forgot to call, I forgot to, to give the 5 yards, and then realizes it right after you blow the whistle and then backs away, you know what? You really don't have a flag. So kind of, try to give them that second, half a second before you're going to throw that flag, because you can always throw a late flag. That happens in lacrosse all the time. We know it. It's just a thing that happens. So you don't have to be throwing that flag immediately. But if you have to throw the flag, you throw the flag. If you don't need to throw the flag because the player has had an epiphany and realized what he needed to do, then great. Fantastic for that player. And we just kind of move on. All right. Questions? Next slide. All right. Good. This is it's kind of counterintuitive for the player to move out of the way. All right. When there's a face-off violation, that player kind of wants to be able to play right away and do whatever he needs. They're looking to kind of make up for whatever mistakes they do and stuff like that. So, understand that when these situations happen, you're looking for advantage, disadvantage. Was that player disadvantaged that has the ball? If he was disadvantaged, then you have a flag. If he wasn't disadvantaged, then you don't have a flag. That's your judgment. That's what you're going to be building up over the course of your career, is your judgment and understanding good mechanics and game management. All right. Any questions about this situation? All right. Sometimes there's a shutoff man, or something like that. If the player wanted to dish the ball off to somebody, there might be a little bit of pressure going on and stuff like that. So in this situation, if the red player that has the ball up at midfield line is looking to dish that ball to the red player that's inside the box or something like that, what you could have in that situation is you could have a violation, because there could be a hold or interference or a loose ball push or a loose ball hold by that blue defending player as that ball is being passed. Okay. Next. All right. Good restart from the sideline. This is a great example of a quick restart that is legal. The player gets the ball, pauses to show the official he's ready. He did not do a full speed sprint. He gets ready with a whistle from the single side. This is not a situation where the single gets set to the cone and lets the new trail blow it in. If he's ready to blow it in, he could blow it in. I'll go over that a little bit more with you guys. Talk to the player, and you're going to tell the player, come on in and stop. Come on in and stop. So, go ahead, run it. Okay, ball goes out of bounds. So now the trail becomes the new lead, and play continues. All right, so we were ready to go. They were ready to go. Got a real quick restart and stuff like that. So when we rerun this, you're going to see that the trail on the near side, okay, as soon as the ball went out of bounds and was heading out of bounds, he turned and he started running all the way downfield, didn't care what was going on with the ball or anything like that, because quite frankly, his partners had what was going on, and they were going to take care of what was going to go on. All right. And this ended up being a quick restart, because that one official that was the trail, he became the new lead. He's sprinting down to get to at least top of the box, if not down to goal, at least top of the box, maybe even a little bit inside the box. Okay. The single side official, the ball went out on his side. As you notice, the ball went out of bounds. His hand went up to stop play. He pointed the direction that the ball was going to be going. As soon as that player got on the field and was ready to go, because it was a relatively quick restart, all right, then he was able to blow that whistle in. there are times when the official on the opposite side of the field during a slow restart will be the one that's going to blow the play in. But because this was a quick restart, all right, and the player did what he needed to do by pausing, the official next to the ball on the far side single, he was able to blow the ball in. Okay, let's run this one again real quick. All right, you see the trail, and you have the official on goal line. He's out of the picture now. Ball goes out of bounds. The official puts his hand up. The new trail becomes the new lead. That player delays. He did what he was supposed to do. The other players did what they were supposed to do. Now the single gets up the midline, and he's monitoring the midline for the offside situation. He's counting players. He knows how many players are on the attacking side. So now he's counting players as they're going across the midfield line and making sure that they're not out of bounds. So his positioning is right on point. He's where he's supposed to be to count, monitor the play, and make sure nobody's doing anything illegal and doing all the counting of the players. He got the restart going in a timely and orderly fashion. There's a lot of stuff that he was doing and responsible for, and he knew that his partners were going to be moving to the next area that they were going to be responsible for. He had that trust in his partners, knowing that they're going to go where they're supposed to be and going to be there when they're supposed to be there. You guys understand all the maneuvering and the mechanics and positioning that was going on there? Awesome. Next slide. Okay, timeouts and restarts. As officials, you want a timeout. You want to anticipate when the timeout is going to be happening. All right. A lot of times when timeouts are going to be happening are when player A is running the ball and he's trying to run the ball through three guys. And the coach doesn't want to lose possession because, as we know, this is a possession game. Coaches are going to call timeouts. Last 2 minutes of a half in close games, as I said, possession savers. If there's man downs and they want to double team a guy, out of bounds transitions and stuff like that. If coaches feel that they're going to lose possession of the ball because their team is taking too long to go and retrieve the ball when the ball is out of bounds or something like that, and the wrong guy's getting it, they may call a timeout so they don't lose possession of the ball with us, just counting that 5-second count and giving the ball to the other team. The trail official needs to open up his ears and expect these situations. The official that's lead, the official that's on goal, you're responsible for that goal. The trail is going to be the one that's going to be responsible for what's going on with those timeouts. Listening to the coaches and keeping your ears open. Sometimes when you get an opportunity, you might even be able to run close to the coach if you happen to be the official that's on the bench side. You want to move with a purpose and encouraging others to restart the play with a nice, steady tempo. If you're the slacker official, that's going to be irritating thing for your partners and for the coaches in the conduct of the game. Sluggish, lazy officials contribute to annoyance of the coaches and the players. All right. You can advance the flow of the game by having a conscious effort and showing a understanding of what is going on, when it's going on, where it's going on. These timeouts and understanding, hey, this might be a good time. As a coach, I would call a timeout in this situation. Okay, so understanding the situation, the time, location of the ball, what you're going to do after the timeout. You could be grabbing sticks. You might not be grabbing sticks, but these are the things you're going to be doing. You're getting together with your partners. You're communicating with the players, with the off-field officials about how many timeouts are left. You're communicating with your partners about where the ball is going to be. Coaches are always asking, "Where's the ball restarting? Where's the ball restarting?" That kind of stuff. If the offensive team called a timeout with possession of the ball inside the box, that ball restarts outside the box. Let the coaches know. Hey, you can go over and you can let the table know. Here's what I'm going to do to the table. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to say, "Hey, Jim, I have a 4-3 game. Okay, I have 1 timeout remaining for white. I have two timeouts remaining for blue. Is that correct?" Jim's got that stuff on a scorecard. He says correct. Boom. Because I yelled it, one of the coaches is paying attention. somebody is paying attention to me while I'm talking, while that timeout is going on. During the timeouts, okay, we want to make sure that the coaches are off the field. They do not come on the field. On timeouts, the coaches stay off the field. The players run to the coaches. Okay? All right. Next slide. Okay, if there's an official's timeout, all right, game situation, let's say that there is an official's timeout because the ball gets caught in the mud or something like that, all right? What you want to do is you have your official's timeout, you're doing whatever it is you need to do. Maybe we need to come together for a conference with each other to discuss what's going on, all right? You want to be quick, but you don't want to be in a hurry. You want to take your time to get the necessary calls correct, okay? Sometimes they're necessary. These things are more common with newer officials, which is okay. It's much better to get it correct than it is to worry about that time and stuff like that. In running time games, you want to try to limit the amount of times that you guys are going to be coming together because the clock is running. All right. You also need to be aware of who's watching the players during these official timeouts. Someone should always have their eyes facing the players' benches and facing the majority of the players not going off the field, making sure that there are no stupid situations that happen during those situations. You're going to try to open up your field of view, all right, and have a good angle on everything in the majority of the players that are going on. Sometimes these quick little whistles, officials timeouts, you could probably end those with a little bit of nonverbal communication. If not, get together. Here are the things that I'm looking for as an experienced official. Ryan will probably say the same thing. When I come in and I have a meeting with an official, if I have a question about something, I want to hear a definitive answer. If I hear, I think this happened, our conversation's over and we're going with what I call. If there's a conversation that has to happen, be 100% confident. Be direct, be to the point, quick and over with. But be confident with the decision that you're making. If you're unsure about something, let the official know, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I did not have a good angle or whatever. That's an answer. I'm sorry, I can't help you is an answer. All right. I think I saw this is not an answer. I'm sorry, I can't help you with this call is an answer. Okay. It's all in the wording, guys. Next slide. Stalling. All right. This is usually the last 2 minutes of the game. Usually happens when players are behind goal. You need to recognize the situation and the level of play. It's usually not called in lopsided games, especially since in a lopsided game, you're essentially talking about a running clock game anyway. And, the attacking team may not be attacking the goal anymore. So what does it mean when you have a stall? Get it in, keep it in. The attacking team, when you make this call more often in the last 2 minutes of the game with a 4-goal lead or lead differential, is you're going to say they got to keep the ball inside the box, okay, inside the confines of the offensive box. You're going to say keep it in, okay. You're going to put your hand out straight and your other hand up in the air, and that's keep it in. All right. So when you have a restart with a stall situation going on, when you're inside 2 minutes, that team gets 10 seconds to get the ball. If they took a shot and it goes out of bounds on the sideline, they get 10 seconds to get that ball back in. All right. You're giving your 10-second count, and then they got to get it in. But once they get that ball in, then they got to keep the ball in. All right. It is a tough call in the game. High schools are never going to have a shot clock like they have a shot clock in college. These are the situations when you want to have in your pregame about what you're going to be doing and what kind of communication you guys are going to have during stall situations between you and your partner, whether it be a verbal or a nonverbal communication, how you're going to handle it and stuff like that. All right. Some examples of what you can do about your signaling, your nonverbal signal to your partner. You can put your hand over your heart. You can put your hand on your belt. You could tip your cap. Someone got as your communication point to communicate to your partner across the field without actually saying something, so that way everybody knows what you're going to be doing. Okay, any questions? Next slide. We always want to be professional in your demeanor and our communication, okay? Professionalism is the one thing that you can always do well, regardless of your age, physical ability, or talent. If you're not a professional, why are you out there on the field? Treat officiating with the respect it deserves, and officiating will be very good to you. This lesson was about the flow of the game, okay? We talked about a lot of ways to keep the clock moving. Time is money. Professionalism is the way you're gonna, from the beginning whistle to the end of the game. Communication with the players, the coaches, and your staff members. Respect. You're going to gain respect the way that you're going to approach the game. You're going to gain credibility with the players and coaches the way that you respect the game, the way you respect them, the way that you verbalize to them, and the way that you maintain your composure. There's not a lot of money that you're making, but you are making good money, and you are a professional out there. So you always want to work hard. You always want to hustle. We want to approach the game, every game, as if it's the last most important game of the time. Essentially, that player may be playing in his one and only varsity game. It could be the only time the player ever gets a chance to play. Those players care a lot about what it is that they're doing, and we need to show as much, if not more, care for the job that we're doing out there. That's what they're expecting from us. That's what we need to give to them. If a mistake is made, admit it, own it. I still make mistakes. Ryan still makes mistakes. All officials are going to always make mistakes. We're human, okay? Don't worry about it. It's fine. Hey, coach, my bad. And you'll be able to correct it. You're going to gain more credibility admitting your mistakes than if you try to end up force feeding them something that is an obvious mistake. Okay? So this is kind of the first of three lessons that we're going to be going over with Rule 4. You guys have any questions about what it was that we went over here with this section today? We all good? All right, let me ask you guys, do you guys want to get together on the 21st, a week from today at 8 o'clock again, and continue with the Rule 4 section, or do you want to put it off until next year?
I'm good with the 21st.
You're
Yeah,
good
I'm
on
good.
21st, Joe? What do you think, Scott?
I'm fine with that. That's
How about
good.
you, Jack?
Yeah, I'm good as well.
All right, so we're going to continue with Rule 4 on the 21st at 8 o'clock. Ryan is going to send an email out to everybody. So on the 21st, a week from today, we're going to continue with Rule 4 and get this thing moving here, so that way we can get you guys as ready and prepared for the season as we possibly can. So if you guys don't have any other questions, expect to see another email coming from Ryan for the 21st to continue with Rule 4, Section 2 of Rule 4 at 8 o'clock a week from today. Anybody have any questions about anything or any of the other rules that we've discussed? I've been kind of blasting through this and trying to provide you as much information as I can. If you ever need to re-see this, it's being recorded and we can send you the video.
I'm good.
All right, if nobody has any questions, if you think of something you want to get back to me or